Psychology of stress, health and well-being. Subject 1. The nature and biology of stress. What is the central idea of the interactional definition of stress proposed by Lazarus and Folkman? Stress is a particular relationship between the person and the environment. What is reappraisal according to the appraisal model of stress? It is an appraisal that follows an earlier appraisal in the same encounter and modifies it. How can culture influence an individual's experience of stress? By influencing the appraisal perception of an event. How are harm-loss appraisals different from threat appraisals according to Lazarus? Harm-loss appraisals are past or present-oriented and result from appraisals of loss or damage, while threat appraisals are future-oriented. What does pressure to conform involve, according to the paragraph? Expectations to follow others' values and rules. Which system is responsible for the quick reaction, within a minute, in response to acute stress? Sympathetic adrenal medullary, SAM system. Which system leads to the secretion of corticosteroids, such as cortisol, in the stress response? Hypothalamic pituitary adrenocortical, HPA system. According to the tend and befriend pattern, how do females respond to stress? Engaging in nurturant activities and maintaining social network. Subject 2. Stress, trauma, and health. What does the term psychosomatic diseases refer to? Answer: physical diseases are influenced by mental factors. How does stress contribute to cardiovascular diseases? Answer: by causing high levels of physiological arousal and promoting atherosclerosis. How does broken heart syndrome differ from a heart attack? Answer: there's no evidence of blocked heart arteries in broken heart syndrome. What did Friedman and Rosenman find in their longitudinal study regarding the likelihood of developing coronary heart disease, CHD, between type A and type B individuals? Answer: type A. Individuals were twice as likely to develop CHD. What interdisciplinary field of study explores the relationship between psychological factors, neurological factors, and the immune system? Answer: psychoneuroimmunology. According to Dobhar and McEwen's 1997-2001 biphasic model, how does acute stress affect the immune response? Answer: enhances the immune response by helping in the redistribution of immune cells in the body. How does acute stress disorder, ASD, differ from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD? According to Barnhill, 2020, answer: ASD lasts less than a month, while PTSD persists long. Subject 3. Positive aspects of stress and trauma. How is PTG related to coping in the context of trauma, according to Tedeschi and Calhoun, 2004? Coping is necessary but not sufficient to achieve psychological thriving, or PTG. How does PTG differ from resilience? Resilience is the ability to bounce back and go on with life after a hardship, while PTG involves improvement that is deeply profound and significant after the trauma. According to the theoretical model of PTG by Tedeschi and Calhoun, how is the relationship between post-traumatic stress, PTS, and post-traumatic growth, PTG, characterized? Some degree of PTS is a prerequisite for PTG. External locus of control has been associated with coping strategies, avoidance. Which of the following is an example of an internal, unstable, and controllable factor? Hard work. In the research on hardiness conducted by Maddie and Kobasa, what differentiated the 1/3 of the sample that thrived from the 2/3 that suffered after the deregulation event? Psychological hardiness. How do individuals with high external locus of control, LOC, tend to perceive outcomes in life? Influenced by factors such as luck and chance. According to Joseph and Linley's organismic valuing theory, what is the main principle underlying the process of growth through adversity? Inherent tendencies towards growth and actualization. Subject 4. Coping processes and strategies. Which of the following is an example of emotion-focused coping? Expression of negative emotion. How do problem-focused coping and emotion-focused coping interact? They tend to facilitate one another. What personality traits are linked to the behavioral inhibition system, making individuals more likely to use avoidance coping strategies? Neuroticism. What is the concept of learned helplessness, proposed by Martin Seligman, 1967, related to the giving up avoidance syndrome? Which of the following is not mentioned as one of the properties of defense mechanisms by Vaillant, 1992? They are conscious and deliberate processes. How does a person with a dominant superego manifest in terms of behavior, according to Freud's theory? Overly idealistic, moralistic, and judgmental. What is the key difference between repression and suppression? Repression is unconscious, while suppression involves consciously removing unpleasant thoughts out of awareness. How does the Coping Effectiveness Training (CET) framework advise dealing with changeable and unchangeable stressors? Use problem-focused coping for changeable stressors and emotion-focused coping for unchangeable stressors. Subject 5. Coping processes and strategies. 2. How does changing the breathing pattern to slow and deep during anxiety or stress affect the autonomic nervous system? Activates the parasympathetic system. Progressive muscle relaxation involves, throughout the body, tensing and relaxing muscle groups in ordered sequence. Catastrophic thinking is irrational, automatic, habitual, and unconscious. Which of the following is not mentioned as a characteristic of catastrophic thinking? Conscious and deliberate. According to Albert Ellis, how can emotions be changed? By changing thinking patterns. Which one of the following is an example of tangible support, providing financial assistance? In the social convoy model, what does the inner circle represent? People who are very close and hard to imagine life without. What are the 3 components of mindfulness proposed by Shapiro and colleagues? Intention, attention, and attitude. Subject 6. Beyond stress and recovery, well-being and happiness. What are the 3 components of subjective well-being, SWB? Life satisfaction, the presence of positive mood, and the absence of negative mood. Which part of the brain is associated with pleasure-seeking or hedonia? Hot systems, older subcortical part of the brain. In Kia's model, what is the state characterized by low levels of subjective well-being and low levels of psychological and social well-being? Languishing.